What?
This one's
This is
an hour
red.
and 27 minutes.
The other one is. Mine's only an hour long. So we watched this.
Josh is gonna sit here for.
Red Planet
Mars.
Oh, it's got Peter Graves.
Yeah, that's why I picked it.
Woo! I'm already happy. Screenplay by John L.
Balderston. From a play by
And-
John L. Balderston.
and John Hoare. Malone Merrick. Film editor is Francis DeLyons. David Chudnow. His music supervisor. Chudnow? Really?
I like that Don Cash.
Anthony Baylor. Harry Horner.
Space.
This is a story not
The
yet
Final
told.
Frontier.
It begins on a warm evening some years hence, when high on a mountaintop in Southern California, a giant telescope searches the heavens for the secrets there contained.
You can't see it with the naked eye, but the micrometer shows it clearly. There's no question of the change in altitude. Hello, Chris.
I heard him say waka waka.
Sorry to have kept you waiting.
They certainly tuck you in up here. Wouldn't even let us into the viewing room.
They've classified the sky top secret now. Lewis, ask Elder to develop these as quickly as possible.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
This is Peter Graves.
This is Chris Cronin, Mrs. Cronin, my assistant, Dr. Bolte.
How do you do?
How do you do?
It's nice meeting you.
Well,
I hope you don't mind my tagging along.
Oh, not
far
in the
from you.
least. We're very happy to have you. May I take your
No,
coat?
we spared no expense on these chairs.
You know, I expected you to be older. You are the radio man. If you think of yourself as the guy with the spyglass. I really walked right into that. I didn't mean it quite as it sounded. But do you seriously believe that you've established contact with Mars? Well, you take pictures of it. Why shouldn't I talk to it?
Bolte,
Yes.
there's no question they have diminished in size. There's no knowing what tonight's pictures may show.
Look,
We
my
may
ant
learn more about
farm.
Mars in the next few minutes.
So that's the baby in person.
It's so clear, it's unbelievable.
This is the first picture. We took it a week ago tonight. See, here are the
Of what?
indentations I told you about. They couldn't be plainer. And all going from north to south.
What are they?
Canals, what else? Traversing the entire planet.
And these big shadows, here and here.
They're making giant
Now
pictures
you
for
know
us
how
to
New
see
York or Chicago would
from
look.
the sky.
Photographed from Mars. And look at those mountains at the pole.
Like the-
They must be as high as the Rockies.
Nazca
How do you
ones?
tell they're mountains?
There have to be. What else would throw such deep shadows?
Dr. Mitchell,
Jeez.
what puzzles me is that you've had the giant telescope for years. Why are you just...
That's just a picture of moldy
Mars's
cheese.
journey around the sun is an elliptical curve. Let me show you.
Yeah, so that's a circle.
It's a C.
It's now at perihelion, about 35 million miles from Earth instead of the usual 63.
Now, what's this one?
Same angle, same exposure 5 nights ago.
See any difference?
Should I?
Well, what have you got?
I don't know. I can't believe it.
Well,
The mountains are gone, and the poles are level.
You can't wipe out mountains taller than the Rockies in the space of a week.
bolting. Look at the canals.
They're different. Now they reflect light like mirrors.
Water reflects light.
Well, so does any other. Are you saying you think those pole formations are ice?
And that in a week, these Martians have melted ice caps thousands of feet high and used the water to irrigate the planet?
Isn't that what the picture says?
But that's impossible. There's no way to.
Oh, there has to be. Why, they've done it. If we could just once ask them how.
I thought you'd already established contact.
Oh, it's Mars I'm getting my signal from, right enough, but how do I give that signal meaning? How do I find a means of communication? Come on, Lynn, let's get going. There's still time to send a signal.
You're going to broadcast tonight?
After seeing these? What do you think?
One man who takes pictures, another who believes he can talk over 35 million miles. It's like having a grandstand seat for the creation of the world.
Or it's death.
Wah wah wah.
It's perfect. Wow, she is so cynical.
I know.
Everybody else is like,
That's why Peter Graves married her. In the movie.
that's why he's named Peter Graves.
Ooh. What's his name in the movie?
Where are you going, Lynn?
Radio
I just
man.
want to have a look at the kids.
I'm a radio man.
I'm a radio man.
Everything looks peaceful.
Yep, it's my dad. Even when it's a kid.
Hi, son. We'll be over at the lab. Don't stay
All
up
right,
too
son. Yeah, quit your porn. Crazy kids.
Chris,
I see.
don't send a message tonight.
What's got into you, Linda? Ever since you saw those pictures, you've
Fear,
been...
Chris. Always eating fear. The whole world's scared. Why shouldn't I be? Every woman in the world, we all live in fear. It's become our natural state.
Huh?
Fear our sons will have to fight another war, or fear they'll face worse.
Where did
We've
this
lived
fear
on the
come
edge of a
from?
volcano all our lives.
It's so random.
One day it has to boil over.
Everybody's got fear of something.
Fear of bees. Fear of being alone.
Affect Vesuvius, Lynn.
Fear of the dark.
Only us women have this fear. Men don't have any fear.
Yeah, that's why I stick my hand in my pocket and I walk into the radio room. I didn't want to call it radio room, but I did.
Here's the second set we've built. This is not a door.
All right, let's
We
see.
pretended
I
it is.
used to have a key. Damn keys.
Chris,
Chris,
how can you be so sure? Don't you understand? Science has made the volcano we're sitting on. Nobel invented dynamite to ease man's life. It's eased a good many into annihilation. Einstein split the atom to create energy. Is terror energy?
Well, that's rubbish, Lynn. Scientifically, we've advanced further in the past 60 years than we have in the previous 2,000. Radio, television, automobile, aeroplane, atomic
And George
fusion,
created
now-
peanut butter.
Saw those pictures tonight? Heard what Mitchell said? If we can once talk to Mars,
I have no idea who created peanut butter.
Stars are ahead of
it's
monkeys. In one
Carver.
moment, we may be able to
No,
leap
wait,
ahead
wait.
another 2,000 years.
Care about peanut butter more.
And Jewel, you'll be the next to advance science. And maybe us. Right into oblivion!
Linda.
I'm sorry, Chris. But when I saw those pictures tonight, it all seemed too imminent.
Linda,
Sure,
this
it's
was a play.
It's what we worked for, isn't it?
It was bad enough.
Why we built this lab, assembled the transmitter.
Did
That's why
peanut
we've
butter?
worked together all these years.
They've been
George
good
Washington
years, Chris.
Carver
Well, they've been great years.
did not
What
invent
do you want me to
peanut
do
butter.
now? Get a crummy research job in some plant? Maybe in 20 years get a paper published in some scientific magazine? Now, when we're on the verge of accomplishing everything we've worked for?
All right, Chris. I'm ready.
What do I say? That if I thought anything we're doing could boomerang against you or the kids, I'd blow up the whole works? You know that. But it can't hurt anyone. Whatever's been done, we've done together, Linda. Well, I don't believe harm can come from anything those hands have had a part in, that's all.
All right, Chris. Let's go. Who am I to
I
stand
wonder
on
if
the
they
wrong
have this
side?
much of a discussion before they had a child. Like, both children. It's like, okay, let's have this huge ass discussion.
But I'm afraid. Fear.
We're all afraid.
We have this discussion every time, Marcia.
If you and I do this, it's our doing together.
By the way, there's many patents of peanut butter that came out exactly at the same time. So nobody has. But George Washington Carver made a whole bunch of different discoveries, and peanut butter is not one of them.
So my joke with George
Didn't actually work.
is wrong.
But it is very widely known as George Washington Carver did that.
Okay. I admit I'm wrong.
It's folklore, actually. But then again, that's Wikipedia, so anybody could have made that.
Anybody could have wrote that, yeah. I know I added a sex scene into Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
So, yep. I wonder if it's still up. Oh man. Staring at this white snow stuff. This is too much. What is he writing down? Nothing new. Same shit.
4 lines this way, 5 lines this way.
He's right. What is he writing out now?
What do you want? How did you get here?
Why didn't I lock my door?
How did you track me down? Stop acting like a fool. Get out of here!
Oh, you're so strong.
I told you not to follow me.
You owe us money.
You were supposed to keep in touch with me by shortwave. The seal isn't even broken.
I have nothing to report. What are you doing here? Answer me!
You said you would establish contact with Mars. That was your commitment.
I'm trying.
This is like an old
We
Peter
are
Graves
not paying
now.
you to try.
I have
Mr.
no
Brown. We
idea.
expect the results. And you might have had the results if you had done as I asked. Conduct your experiments at our laboratories at Berezovho, where we could have supplied you with skilled assistance. Instead of which you buried yourself here in the Andes, alone. No one to assist you.
You mean no one to watch over me? Thank you. I've had one taste of jail.
I don't know why you complain. We extricated you, we helped you. We want scientists of your caliber, Mr. Calder. We treat them well when they serve us.
Serve? Are you talking to me? I don't owe you anything.
You owe us your freedom. It was the Americans who threw you into jail and our men who helped you to escape. Not to mention all this equipment which you have piled up. This was an investment. Now we demand an accounting.
I'm not a bookkeeper.
We don't make investments with no returns. You know our policy.
Are you trying to frighten me?
We had an agreement. It is my responsibility to see that it is carried out.
You're threatening me with extermination, huh? Is that the policy you refer to?
You find the idea amusing.
Highly. You won't harm me. You need me. Think they've humbled me, huh? Bringing me, Franz Calder, to this. Cringing, hiding. Just another rat in his hole. But all this won't last. The rat will come out. And then the world will listen.
To what? You send radio waves.
You want a report? I'll give you one.
Look.
Come on.
Look. I've got 5 lines.
You can tell your masters that I've failed in my experiments. I've not been able to establish contact with Mars. Their money's been wasted.
It is not a report they will appreciate.
Still, they won't exterminate me.
Of that I wouldn't be too sure.
Because you can also tell them that the Americans who stole my valve have succeeded. They have established contact with the Red Planet.
Wait outside.
Yeah, they need muscle. They don't call me.
Newspapers will tell you as much in a few days. It's not in the American character to keep silent about success.
But that's incredible that they should actually...
Why? You expected it from me.
But you said that your equipment was the best in the world. That no one could duplicate your developments.
I forgot the 7-year start the American had on me. 7 years while I was in jail. 7 years.
Don't let's start that again. What shall I report?
What can you report? That the Americans also want the secrets of a wiser civilization so that they can turn them into new methods of destruction?
How do you know all this?
Because I'm the one other person with a hydrogen valve. I alone can pick up their signals and the replies.
Then you can give us the questions they put to Mars and the answers they receive.
Yes, exactly. And that's why I can laugh at your threats.
Oh, don't talk like that. Nobody is threatening you. You're invaluable to us. It's not who gets the information first, but who first puts it to use.
Oh, my dear friend. You must let me send you a less monotonous diet.
My diet's already taken care of. I did not spend all your money on equipment.
Is there anything else you need?
Yes, one thing. Let's drink to it.
Well, by all means, my dear fellow.
He doesn't know how to pour wine.
No.
He would piss off any
Your
type
absence.
of sommelier.
Sommelier.
What is
He would piss off any
sommelier?
Oh, there you go.
Thank you very much, comrade. Considerate of you, leading us to his lair.
It would piss off anybody who's a wine connoisseur.
him down all on the strength of a single phrase.
He thought himself so clever with his, you can find me only through finding Christ.
You dropped your bunny rabbit.
I wonder if that kid has a fan club. Yeah, I was a little boy in Red Planet.
What was that outburst?
He woke up and couldn't find his rabbit.
He's going to conventions. People, oh my God, I need your signature.
Thanks. I guess I better get the...
Here's your carbona.
Oh. How'd you know we'd need this?
Did you two ever start a project and not need it?
She's pretty smart, huh? Hey, Mom, I got a TL for you.
I could use one.
Remember when the parents came to visit our class?
One of my grimmest memories.
All the fellas decided that you were the youngest-looking mother there.
Isn't that nice?
Boy, you should have seen those other crows.
That did it. Now clean away this mess and get started on your
homework.
Right.
Gosh, I only got my math to do. You know I don't want to fuss over that.
Well, before you pin any medals on yourself, an extra hour on history wouldn't hurt. At that, you're no genius.
Well, you can't have everything.
Oh, heavens, who's coming?
Probably Mitchell to find out if Mars had anything intelligible to say.
I'll get it.
He has a Wally haircut.
Is Mr. Cronin in?
I'm Cronin.
I'm Bill Carey. This is no time to barge in on you like this, but your reports didn't reach my desk until this morning, and I flew right out.
My reports brought you out.
Oh, we grasp at any straw to get out of Washington for 24 hours.
Please come in, Admiral.
Thank you.
I'm Linda Cronin.
How do you do, Miss Cronin?
Oh, forgive the mess, but all major mechanical projects seem to get started in the living room. This is our son, Stuart.
Hiya, fella.
No, I'm going to hug him. Inappropriately.
Stuart.
Hey, are you looking at my flare?
Well, at this hour, I can't claim the sun's not over the yard arm.
Are you the Admiral Carey who broke the Japanese code?
My one claim to fame. But confidentially, wasn't a very good code.
Come on, Stu.
You don't know how glad I am to see you. We didn't know if you'd even bother with our show here.
Rose to it like a marlin. But what beats me, if you are getting messages from Mars, how have you kept it out of the papers?
Well, we're not getting any messages. Not yet.
Darn close to it if your reports stand up.
Oh, if we ever do get messages, understandable ones, that is, they'll be given out. 4 years of Navy gave me my belly full of hush-hush.
I can understand that.
So far, all we're getting are repetitions of our own signals coming back at us.
Now, these answers you get.
Please sit down.
These answers you get, couldn't they be your own signals bouncing off some object in outer space? Some other planet? Booming back at you? I'm no authority on electronics, but I am. No, this is
Some
no
other
bounce
planet is doing
As I
it?
told you, we transform sound
It's coming
into light.
quickly, guy.
The speed of light is
So,
186,000
there's no other
miles a second.
planet really between
So you divide the
Earth
distance to
and
Mars by the speed
Mars.
of
I wish
light,
I had
and you
a.
get
I want to
the
have a
length of time it
blackboard
takes
and
our
go.
light
Okay.
waves to reach Mars. Double that.
So which planet are you saying it could be?
All be mechanical.
There's many of them
Come back
between
in the
us
exact
and
number.
Mars.
What if it's the moon?
It never takes place.
What if we're hitting the moon?
That's not a
multiple times?
planet. That's a
Sometimes it's a
moon.
minute
Well.
and a half.
Sometimes, like tonight, for instance, we get no answer. An echo will always sound, but sometimes the human brain sleeps.
But why always the same signal back? Why never anything you can hang on to?
Well, because I'm too stupid to give them a lead. That's why I yelled for help.
Well, this is no picnic you've asked me on. You don't even know what language they speak, if any. It's like working out a system of communication with gollywogs. How the devil to find a point of contact?
What's a gollywog?
How about pie?
That's hardly the way to offer it, Stu. And by the size of that slice, I doubt if there's anything left.
I mean pie.
Now, what are you talking about?
Well, if we're getting answers, they have to have a transmitter as powerful as ours.
Go on, what are you driving at?
Well, they can't build anything like that unless they know how to make a wheel. That means a circle.
And you can't make a circle without knowing the ratio of the diameter to the circumference. Pi.
I still don't understand what that has to do with...
Your son's ahead of you, Cronin. What is pi?
3.1416, as I remember.
Roughly. That's it, roughly. Actually, it's 3.1415926 and so on, an infinite number of decimals.
Well, so what? We broadcast 3.1416 to Mars, and what can they answer?
Nothing. But they must be trying as hard to talk to you as you're straining to talk to them. All they're looking for is an opening. So, you don't broadcast 31416. You broadcast 31415.
And if they understand, they continue the equation.
Right.
Where'd you get that idea, son?
Biting into this.
Come on, let's get over to the lab and try
Oh yeah, that kid didn't think of that. That kid did not think of that.
But
Aren't you coming?
what?
Don't mind me, I'm just the
Is he
babysitter
just?
around
He's
here.
just so he's just sending a number out,
When we come in.
What makes you think?
and
I'm
they'll go,
asleep?
okay.
3, 1, 4, 1,
What?
5.
So you hear a number coming out.
1,
But
4, 1, 5. 3, 1, 4, 1, 5. Shut it off.
That's stupid.
What do we do now?
The blasted waiting's always the worst part.
One,
3 minutes, 8 seconds each way.
0.
6 minutes, 16 seconds all
They'll
total.
know it's
Plus the
decimal.
time it takes them to answer.
What is he
if
trying
they
to
answer.
say?
You
Maybe
know,
it's
this is gonna be
binary.
the longest 6 1/4 minutes I
They'll
ever
know.
spent.
It looks like a line.
You like that pipe, Admiral. And if Chris's hydrogen doesn't blow you up, he will.
Always the danger of a leak and no way of telling it. Hydrogen's odorless.
I told you I was no authority on electronics. What's the hydrogen for?
Well, hydrogen sufficiently pressurized can be brought down to a temperature of about 451 degrees below zero. And nobody knows why, but sound waves can be picked up at that temperature that would be otherwise completely inaudible. And now certain minerals also have incredible acoustic properties. Quartz, for instance. Well, that's what this valve is made of. And we warp it with a pressurized hydrogen. It gives us the energy for a power transmission 1,000 times greater than any sound transmitter ever conceived.
There it is. The red planet Mars. For over 2,000 years, the symbol for war. And we dare to fly in the face of Providence and try to bring it closer to us.
Sometimes my wife is less than enthusiastic about this project.
How long have you been doing this? Okay, does she have this discussion every single time?
How is it
If nothing happens
giving
to
war?
Don't be too disappointed.
How is that a symbol for war?
Maybe the aliens are bad.
It's just got to happen. We've waited so blasted long.
I know, but if it doesn't.
Poor Linda with all her silly fears. And you hope it doesn't happen, really?
You know what beats me? I just can't believe that you people really assembled all this yourself.
No, we got a slight assist from the Carnegie Foundation.
You realize if this comes off by this time tomorrow, you'll be the most famous man in the world?
Funny, none of the credit's mine. Actually, it all belongs to a German scientist, a criminal, a brilliant criminal, with nothing but hate in his heart.
What do you mean?
Did you ever hear of Franz Calder?
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 Do you remember the famous quotation, "The human being is the best guinea pig"?
High voltage experiments on the human nervous system. The Nazi criminal.
He invented the valve. I found the blueprints at Nuremberg. It's taken us all the years since then to build a transmitter capable of spanning the enormous distance. And we've been broadcasting for 8 months, first without success, and now...
The last 3 weeks.
We've been getting answers.
Well, you're not going to give Calder any of the credit.
Why not? It's his valve. The devil's entitled to his due. 2 minutes to go.
We've been sitting here for 10, 20, 4 days.
I wonder what kind of a world we're opening the door on.
You'd wonder even more if you saw the pictures of Mars that we saw last night. Ice caps, thousands of feet high.
You wonder even more if you saw the pictures of Mars we saw last night, and you see like strip. You see Martians in strip poses.
It's like we can't wait to get down there.
What would happen?
Peter Graves is gonna show him his.
Well, what happened to the people who owned or worked on canals when the railroad started?
Still, Mr. Calder.
You want to see some magic? He's whipping out his pixie stick, everybody.
He's gonna show us a pixie stick move.
In Russia, I suppose.
10 seconds to go.
Oh,
Switch out the lights, will you, darling?
yeah.
Why? Because sound needs darkness.
Three.
Oh, we're gonna see video.
1. 4. 1. 5. 3. 1. 4. 1. 5. 3.
This is the rest of the movie, people.
1.
Goes on forever.
4. 1. 5.
Our own signal back, the same blasted story.
Chris, look!
9. 2.
6.
Linda, we've done it.
Dear Lord, don't make us sorry.
They're like This is gonna be like foreshadowing and crazy cool. Everything she says.
Make contact with Mars. They know the number system. We're gonna go to the Dewey Decimal System, see if they can respond. Yeah.
Something sent it back. Peter Graves with the BBC.
Oh, it's on Pornhub?
It means a completely different thing. Send that number back.
To the establishment of mathematical and chemical formulas. Very ingenious. They were able to frame a few questions.
I read all that in the papers. What about you? Have you contacted Mars yourself?
You're a fool, Eugenian. If I can read their messages, they can read mine. Why should I let them know that they have competition?
And so, what only 2 weeks ago was a secluded laboratory in the San Diego mountains has become the new center of the world. Scientists, code experts, newsmen, all concentrated on only one thing. The first concrete word from Mars.
Ladies and gentlemen, step right up closer. I want to introduce you to the keyhole of Mars. Now I have the only authentic, genuine picture of the planet Mars. What a thrill. What a thought. To send home to those people. All right, folks. Come on, come home, folks. The planet Mars.
People want photos of Mars. Like it's... But they've had photos of Mars at this time.
Hi, Mr. Cronin. Been to town?
Yeah, just down to see how the press camp's coming along. Yeah, they've got to put up 2 more buildings. Stewart wanted to see Admiral Carey and his staff at work.
Итак, всего неделю тому назад еще никому неизвестный молодой
No, that's the voice of America.
по фамилии Христофор
Кронин, живущий и работающий в своей лаборатории близ города Сан-Диего в Калифорнии, стал центром внимания всего цивилизованного мира.
First photos on Mars' surface was in 1976, 20 years after this movie.
Oh, Mars surface. I'm talking about these
I'm
photos
talking
of Mars.
they're talking about the surface. 20 years after this movie.
I just meant photos of Mars. When did this become the Great Escape? I looked away for 2 seconds.
Yeah, me too.
I see nothing. Nothing.
Hogan! Oh, well, look at that. It's lines.
And so the weeks of preparatory work are over. Communication with Mars is now a reality. Tonight has brought us the first real information about
They've
life
sent
on
us
that
the first
distant
joke.
planet. They were asked the average lifespan on Mars. Their answer, 300 Earth years.
That can
300 years?
I hope not your mother.
Our regular program.
300 Earth years. How would they know an Earth year?
Pensions for 235 years. Who's going to pay them?
Are they all fat?
The future of the livestock industry is at stake.
Is the government going to continue to support the price of potatoes?
Just a minute. How about the price of wheat?
The hysteria which has greeted the Martians' claims.
Why would
has
there be
become a national
hysteria?
peril. All this after the release of only 3 messages. Ladies
Why
and
would there be
gentlemen,
hysteria?
I cannot too strongly stress the necessity
That's
for
over there, not over
Do
here.
not allow yourselves
Yeah, but
to be
if we
emotionally
learn how to
disturbed
do
by
it,
those messages.
then we can feed everybody. We wouldn't need a lot of land and stuff, and you couldn't get rich being a farmer.
No.
Because you learn how to do it, you up the prices.
Have now announced that for the
You can
past
feed
3
so many more
centuries,
people per
they
thing.
haven't
Make it a
used
Martian.
coal,
Go.
oil, electricity,
Martian technology.
any form of power
This
on which we
and
rely.
Organic
Theirs
food
has all been provided
versus
by cosmic
non-organic.
energy,
Guess what?
through which
More
they have made
expensive.
hundreds of elements fissionable.
Close that door.
Yeah, I'm gonna go close that door.
If this is true, no miner in America, no miner in the world will have a job.
Our interests are identical. We owners represent an investment of $5 billion.
It took Mars to make you recognize that identity of interest.
Well, the oil men are in the same boat with us.
And let them bail it out. Oil is no concern of ours.
I'm still confused about this
Well, no.
prices thing.
Now people are coal mines closed because up there they don't need coal and fossil fuels. They're gonna teach us.
It wouldn't close the coal mines. That wouldn't happen.
That's this black. All these people in the street are in line.
When we invented nuclear reactors, did that shut down everything else? No. Not at all.
Robble, robble.
I'm tracking here.
Is that the same car he drove in the other movie? No. That's Peter goddamn Graves.
Honey, I have a rock in my car. On a trip. I'm having a terrible day.
Was that intentional? Thank God they kept rolling. Peter Graves.
Hi, Dad. You're just in time for the news.
I've had enough news for one day.
I'm having a terrible day.
Meanwhile, this morning, every American bank had long lines of depositors waiting to withdraw their funds. Owing to the difference in time, the latest bulletin from Mars had created its effect on Europe before we Americans had finished our breakfasts. In London, the Prime Minister called a special meeting of the Cabinet at number 10 Downing Street. But this did not prevent pandemonium on the London Stock Exchange. The value of British industrials has decreased nearly £10 billion in the last 2 weeks. In Paris, the third government in 2 weeks failed of a vote of confidence. And President Romain, hopeless of forming a fourth government,
It's going to be hilarious if the guy was standing there just in the room doing the broadcast.
This, however, did not prevent
No,
disorders in
he
Lyon,
tipped over a jalopy.
Marseille, and other French cities. Meanwhile, in Rome, the Holy Father urged a policy of patience.
That fire thing
Turn that
was the
blasted
same
thing
shot from last movie.
Another minute, Dad.
But in Milan and Genoa, there was widespread rioting.
Turn it off, I said.
Why didn't you just turn
They
it
gotta
off?
hand it to you, Pop. When you blow the lid off, you really blow it off. Well, that crowd out there's mad
I
enough.
thought I told you to stay out of the street.
I just wanted to take a look.
Haven't you anything better to do than lollygag around where you haven't any business? It's enough work for you to do around here.
Gosh, I did the whole lawn this afternoon.
Yeah, and left the moor where everybody could stumble over it as usual.
Trick or treat. Tricks or treat.
What's he made up for?
It's going trick or treating. It's Halloween.
It's Halloween, remember? And children like to go out and play trick or treat. That is, children who can get out of the house do. And little boys who can't. They still like the fun of getting dressed up.
You look scrumptious.
You know, this movie would turn awesome if it turned out that the dad goes nuts and tries to murder the whole family.
Next year we'll go trick or
With an
treat.
axe?
How'll that be?
Or,
boys. And hands
I don't know.
washed. Stu, can you
Martians
see
go.
these polished up?
They come in,
Oh, Mama,
and then you
can't
find out it's a cookbook,
Be a good
and then you're like,
Oh, that would be fantastic.
This is a 1 hour version of the Twilight Zone movie. Twilight
I
Zone.
think the Twilight Zone
episode. How to
Was
eat
that
man.
episode an hour long?
How to serve man. Did you still want to skip it?
It's so much better. No, I'll watch it.
I'm sorry, Lynn.
You don't have to take it out on the kids, Chris.
Is that what I'm doing? I'm sorry.
Supposedly he's on his way.
Did he send you a message?
The lab. Gary's ordered some new gadget installed.
No, we can skip ahead. Like, let's just mark it. Mark it here.
Mom, come here quick.
No, it's
Mother's
fine.
flashing water.
I actually really enjoy this
Hurry.
movie. So I want to watch it through its entirety.
Oh my God, he's smoking around a Jeep. Man, who smokes around a Jeep?
Yeah.
The anger.
How's it going?
Excuse me.
Evening, sir.
What do you
What
think that
installation
was?
you're getting here?
A bench?
What is it? That's the latest thing. We've only installed one other like it. That was in the Pentagon. It's an improvement on the cathode ray oscillograph. As soon as we get it wired up, then we're putting it outside in a cement vault. It'll take down your messages right off the transmitter. It records them on film.
Go ahead, light it.
Huh?
Be interesting to see if the place really would blow up.
You'll recall, Mr. Secretary, that the Joint Chiefs advised immediate control when the first message was received.
Yes, I recall quite well, General. I also recall that the President overruled
Did
us.
you say Josh?
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to wait for him.
Have him come in.
Yes, he knows his car information.
Mr. Secretary, General Burdett. Hello, Bill.
Sit down, Carey, sit down. Have you decoded any other messages?
No, sir. We've been sweating over a batch for nearly a week now, but no success.
Thank heaven for that. We're closing down that decoding room out in California.
But messages are still coming in, sir.
Well, they'll be microwaved here as fast as they come in. And they're not getting outside this building. Your whole staff's coming back today. Nothing is to be released to the public. Nothing. You understand, gentlemen? Nothing.
Yeah,
Is
shit,
there anything else,
sir.
Our economic system shambles. Industrial production shot to blazes. Our entire civilization collapsing about our heads like a house of cards. And the whole Western world going down with us. This Cronin has done more to smash the democratic world in the last 4 weeks than the Russians have been able to do in 11 years.
This is a really good
I could hear the
choice,
laughter
Gerald,
in Moscow
because this
now.
is almost exactly what's happening right now.
No, Admiral, no. There is nothing more. Calling 2BLM, calling 2BLM.
2BLM here, go ahead.
Where's the genius? Where's the genius?
You will call him on another wavelength. 9434 kilocycles. Broadcast band E. Use scrambler number 5. The call number is 9K-BLM. Your call will be relayed. He's waiting for you.
Calling 9KBLM, calling 9KBLM.
Товарищ дежурный, передайте товарищу Арджиньяну, что Кольдер его вызывает.
There's a point in this movie where it was fun, and then you're like, man, now it's getting a little tedious.
Fun. Tell her daddy, little T-bird. Daddy,
Everybody's listening to radios.
Well, they're also talking to people on radios.
Go ahead, Calder. This is Argenian. Are you all right?
Don't worry about me.
No.
How about you? How are you, Argenian? Huh?
He's drunk.
That's foolish of you to go where those monsters can lay hands on you.
Shut up, you fool.
Премьер спрашивает, есть ли другие новости.
Are there any more messages?
Mars seems to have run out of messages for the moment.
Чем интересуются американцы?
What are the Americans asking, Calder? If you can tell us that.
As nearly as I can understand, they want to know how the Martians, if they use cosmic power for everything, are kept from blowing each other to bits.
Send us the messages as soon as you get them. There must be no slip-ups. Is that understood?
Haven't you got your money's worth yet?
Не беспокойтесь, товарищ генерал. Не думаю, что американцы...
Is this dog, Calder, reliable?
Я сказал вам...
In English.
Yeah, so we can understand.
If I want him to understand me, I'd speak Russian. Why didn't you insist on him coming here to work?
I couldn't insist. He would have destroyed his valve. He's a madman, a lunatic.
The world is full of lunatics. They want to start a war now. Now, when there is no need. Stalin did not dare precipitate one because he could not defeat the free economy of the West. Now the economy is shattered. The strength of the Western world fades like a dream in the night. Their civilization perishes. Lenin dreamt of the world in his hands. Stalin tried to get
My
it
wife.
Our premier will succeed.
That's awesome.
We will build our new world on the ruins of the West.
All right, you keep drawing that giant curly Q on the
She's not typing
chalkboard.
like that, is she? That is really how these people type?
Maybe.
Fingers up like this?
Dr. Stokes.
You have to have long fingers.
Yes. Yours is identical with Robert's translation.
It can't mean anything else.
How do you explain it?
I don't even try.
All the other messages deal with such abstruse scientific data that we can't make any headway. Then out of the blue, this. Why, it's...
It's inspiring, Admiral, if nothing else.
Get me the Secretary of Defense.
He's at the White House, sir.
Prepare a memorandum to him.
Aye, aye, sir.
Eyes only.
Eyes only.
We can't risk the Russians decoding those messages. I certainly don't want war.
Decoding what messages? There's no big messages being sent. It's numbers. What did you make? I don't know. I made a pie. Here's how it's circled.
I made 3 circles today.
What'd you send? I sent a cookbook. Told them how to cook some squirrel. Make some eggs.
We both made houses.
This country will not launch a war.
I sent them an emoji.
You still know my first name.
Semicolon, hyphen, parentheses.
I said, "How are you today?" And they said, "I'm fine. What do you like to eat?"
Decision of yours. But I have a
Peas and
responsibility to this country too.
And
I can't stand by
Apparently,
and
they
see it
like the
destroyed.
movie Forrest Gump. We don't even know
that
what
I
that
have money
is
that
yet.
can be destroyed.
We sent them the whole
13
movie
slips of
via
paper covered with
text.
obscure symbols.
The Japanese Empire was destroyed by a slip of paper covered with obscure symbols. Once those symbols were translated into power.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
You said to interrupt the men that they arrived, sir.
Oh, yes. Have them come in, please.
Won't you come in, please?
How do you do, Mrs. Cronin?
How do you do, Mr. President?
Mr. Cronin?
Mr. President.
It was very good of you to come. I'm only sorry you didn't bring your boy with you. I wanted to meet the culprit who started this whole business. Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Cronin, Secretary of Defense, Mr. Sparks.
How do you do?
Mr. Sparks.
Mr. Cronin.
And General Burdett.
General Burdett.
Hello. Won't you sit down, please?
I do hope we go into space. I really do.
I don't think so.
It's all going to be on Earth?
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
because
drag
we don't
this
have the
out, Cronin.
technology to go into space.
I'm afraid I've got to break your heart.
You made a pretty fair start on that, Mr. President, when you pulled Kerry back to Washington, clamped this censorship on us.
Is this really just going to be them talking and just sitting around
aren't we allowed to
talking?
know?
Yeah.
There have been no further decodings. And now there will be no further messages
And it's
to
just
decode.
about messages back and
You
forth
must
from
shut
space?
down your transmitter.
Shut it down. You're not serious.
I've got to clamp the lid on this business. Stop these communications.
Well, I suppose that lies within your power, Mr. President. You can declare a national emergency.
I don't have to declare it. It's here, and not merely national.
You've shattered the economy of the civilized world.
I'm not interested in economics, Mr. Secretary.
Who
because
makes or who
this
loses
movie
money
would
doesn't
never
seem as
happen.
important to me as the
Like,
chance
it never
to
would
advance
happen like
civilization
this.
1,000
Not
years
this
in one
like
jump.
abrupt and
Our
fast.
job is
It
the
brings you
advancement of
like into
civilization.
this idea
Is
of
to preserve
just,
the country handed
I
down
don't
to us.
care.
If we believed that, every scientist from Franklin to Edison would have been suppressed.
Gentlemen, gentlemen.
I'm sorry, Mr. President. If you order it, sir, of course I'll
The
have to
greatest
shut my
economic
transmitter
downfall of
But I'll never do it of my own
human
volition.
civilization.
Even though it threatens national security.
Yes, aliens.
threaten
What
national
pie
security to know
was?
that man can look
Ancient
forward to a longer
astronaut theorists
lifespan?
believe.
That he has at his disposal the power to eliminate 90% of the world's work?
We've learned that from the four
The
messages
greatest
we've
fear
recorded.
man could
There are
ever
13
have
others that we haven't translated.
is sending a
one
message
we
back and
received
forth
today.
and finding out that
So long as they're not decoded,
aliens
they can't
eat
threaten anything.
I said that
only
we haven't
1 acre.
translated. Kerry released the bulletin on cosmic
There's only about
power
4,000
at
of them.
11:22 p.m.
We
Pacific
heard.
Coast time the night of the 27th. The same bulletin was released in Moscow at 9:30
You know one
a.m.
thing
the
they
morning
didn't
of the
ask though?
28th. No, well,
They were like,
we-
"Oh, with 1
broadcast
acre
everything
we
on the
can
Voice of
feed
America
1,000
But there's an 11-hour
people,
differential
right?
between
Or
Moscow
1,000
and San Diego,
Martians."
Cronin.
They assume the Martians are
9:30
big.
a.m. in Moscow.
What if the Martians are like this
52 minutes
big?
earlier.
Like little
11:22 the night
mice.
before in San Diego.
Hey guys, we're all
The Russians
tiny.
are intercepting and decoding?
Well, is any other explanation possible?
We're super small.
What if it's like that's excess actually?
The man who
It's too
invented the
much.
hydrogen valve. It's the very heart of the transmitter.
Now you see how important it is to stop your communication with this other planet.
I see now why they can't be stopped.
What do you mean?
If Calder can pick up our messages, he can also pick up messages of his own. We may stop, but he won't. And then our national security really is threatened.
Yes.
For the Secretary, Mr. President, eyes only.
All right, everybody, turn away.
Don't look. Don't look.
Anybody else want to see it?
It's a note from Admiral Carey. They've decoded another message.
He
today.
said eyes only.
Carey's outside.
You telling me I can't touch it?
Have him come in, please.
Who's opening it for me?
Telegram.
Come in, Admiral. Come in.
It's one of those
You'll
scenes.
forgive me, Mr. President, but the Secretary left orders that no matter where
Have you
was-
got another message?
Yes, we've got one. Oh, may I, sir?
I think he's entitled to that.
Well, this is nonsense. It's impossible.
What is it, Cronin?
Well, you remember, sir, we asked them how, with their free use of cosmic energy, they were prevented from blowing each other off the face of the map.
If they have an answer to that, I'll welcome it.
Well, according to this, they submitted the question to their supreme leader. You say spiritual, Bill. I'm not sure it shouldn't be something even stronger. Godlike was Dr. Stokes' translation.
What is the message, Chris?
You have been given knowledge and have used it for destruction. 7 lifetimes ago, you were told to love goodness and hate evil. Why have you denied the truth?
The Sermon on the Mount. On Mars.
But don't talk nonsense, Linda.
Love goodness and hate evil. What else would you call it?
I don't understand it.
I don't either, Chris. But I'm glad we installed the oscillograph, because once the messages are recorded on film, no one can accuse us of garbling them.
Well, Mr. President, I said I'd never voluntarily suppress a message. But I was wrong. This one can't go out.
Why not?
Well, it doesn't make sense. It's not scientific.
Oh, maybe it's the one scientific truth we've forgotten.
You mean you take this message seriously?
We took the other seriously, didn't we? If we were right to release one message, we must release this too.
Mr. President, you know the panic those other messages have caused. Loose a wave of religious hysteria on top of it, and every crackpot and his brother will be lecturing on street corners.
Mr. President, you're worried about national security. Is there one word in that message that threatens our security? Or anyone else's?
Yes.
And solution there was none. Save in the rule of Christ alone. My father was very fond of Emerson. May I see that message, please?
You're not going to release it?
Your arguments in defense of scientific freedom have convinced me.
Well, this time Cronin is right, Mr. President. We can't hitch our wagon to that star.
We've switched stars, Mr. Secretary. Now we're following the Star of Bethlehem.
It became a religious
That message is to be broadcast all over the world. In all languages.
So far.
Exactly as decoded.
Everybody run!
Hooray!
More of this. I actually read up a little bit about this movie.
Yeah.
I am unhappy.
What?
Die letzte Mars-Sendung hat keine
They don't go
weitere
to
Erklärung.
Mars?
Wir wissen nur, dass wir es
I'm
mit
so
einer
unhappy
Person
about
von
what this
höchster
movie
Wichtigkeit zu
becomes.
tun haben.
Полученная сейчас радиопередача с
This
Марса
is it! This is like the movie.
Единственное, что понятно в настоящий момент, это следующее. Исходит это сообщение от таинственного лица, которое марсиане называют высшее существо. Слушайте, что произнесло это лицо.
Yes, yes, Calder, I heard you. But what does it mean?
Why ask me?
I'm an expert on electronics, not religious movements.
Are there any other messages?
Questions by the thousands. There are no answers.
Are there any other messages?
Questions by the thousands. There are no answers.
Bother the questions, let us know when they answer.
Did it just repeat?
It did?
You think that's editing?
I know I am not alone in being struck by the
It was
phrase
a
which the
perfect
message
cut. It looked like
7 lifetimes
Wow.
ago are the words. But we know that the Martian's life is 300 years. So 7 lifetimes is about 2,100 years. Or, as near as one could ask, to the era in which the carpenter of Nazareth went forth to preach his message. Is it only coincidence that the message he broadcast 2,000 years ago should again be broadcast from the Supreme Being on Mars? If so, then how explain that this authority should know what we on Earth were told 20 centuries ago? Or is it possible that the man of Nazareth and the man of Mars are the same?
Get them curlers out of your hair.
What for?
We're going to church, that's what for.
You feel all right?
Now look, don't argue with me. Get the curlers out of your hair and let's get dressed and get out of here. This ain't no time to take chances.
Alright. You keep it going, I gotta pee real quick.
You ever gonna come back? I hope not. A lot of people.
It has brought hope when we had lost all hope. It has brought light into a world of darkness. All over the world, regardless of their religious beliefs, men have found a new faith by which to live. No, not a new faith, but an old one. Many of us had allowed ourselves to lose. A faith that is universal in men of all faiths. For while to us the words from Mars seem the very essence of the Christian doctrine, let us not forget that they are also the essence of all other religions. Christian, Mohammedan, Jewish, Buddhist. All are heeding the call to prayer, kneeling humbly in the search for divine guidance. I pray particularly that behind the Iron Curtain, where our eyes are not permitted to see, men will open their hearts to the message of peace and the promise that their rulers have so long denied them. Today's message reads, "Ye have denied God's word and worshipped false gods. Thy torment is the price of thine own sin."
Сегодняшнее краткое сообщение с Марса гласит: слушайте, ты отрекся от Слова Божьего, ты поклонился идолу, и муки твои суть награда за твои прегрешения, и муки твои суть награда
My
за
father
твои
The fishermen. Bad people. Burying treasure? What? So, ancient religious relics. Unburied.
Солдаты идут! Они близко подходят!
Кулаки! Расходись по домам! Слушай команду! Я вас всех перебью!
These messages are spreading all over the country. Poland, Romania, Bulgaria, and no one knows how. Villages that have never even seen the radio suddenly erupt.
Have you heard the latest message?
Is there another?
The Americans released it an hour ago.
Простите, товарищ генерал.
He who follows the tyrant's banner shall wear the tyrant's chains. He who carries God's banner shall know everlasting life.
Breton, do you expect me to tell them that?
What you tell them is no concern of mine.
Everlasting life!
No. Poor guy that doesn't do anything.
Hello, Calder. Are you there? Calder, are you there?
Проснись.
Come in, Calder. He doesn't answer.
Because he's dead.
Comrade General, I would not suggest...
Suggest what?
These uprisings. Is it possible that...
It is possible that another mass transplantation of population may be necessary. We have fostered a famine 30 years ago. We shall foster another. Let 20 or 30 millions of this shift die, and see how long the religious faith lives.
But if the messages continue...
We have found a religious revival necessary to get them to fight the Germans. We will have another, and they will fight the West.
Are you sure the valve's working?
Oh, I've checked it a dozen times.
There must be some reason for their silence up there.
Well, there can be 1,000. We've got 2 atmospheres to get through. Ours may be clear and theirs may be impenetrable, or maybe their transmitter's out of whack. Maybe the operator's got the measles, or maybe he's finished his allotted 300 years, or maybe...
They've said everything they have to say. Maybe the rest is up to us.
She is way too
Calling
profound.
to me, 7XK.
He won't answer. Come on.
There's no need for me in there.
You can have the honor of telling the Premier that your communication have broken down. I don't want to answer his questions.
Нашли этого Калдера?
Нет контакта с Калдру.
Это что же, господин
What I miss?
Аргения?
Drunk German guy is dead. Avalanche.
Простите, товарищ премьер.
There's no more response from
Talk
Mars.
English,
I
you
think
fool!
they're done.
Anything is preferable to that atrocious accent.
I'm sorry, Comrade Premier. Perhaps if I tried again.
Has the Patriarch arrived yet?
Никак нет.
Hold the airport!
You know what would be a really cool twist? If it wasn't being sent to Mars. It was transmitted by someone else.
Well, there is no answer.
That'd be interesting.
Like the sun or something.
Not even that. It was just some guy from his basement.
Comrade Premier, if I may suggest.
It was like a big
The
all hoax.
transmitter, we could contact the airport with it.
Hurry!
But I don't think that this movie is that smart.
Продолжайте. Со свидания.
Никто не отвечает.
Ну что же?
We are trying. Okay.
Oh no, our lights went out.
Look. The lights are still on out there.
Товарищ премьер.
Singing. It was one of the favorite anthems of the cathedrals.
That will silence their hymns. What do these superstitious peasants think they can accomplish against our guns?
Hello?
The world is burning and I'm playing
No,
the
she and Stuart went to town. Haven't got back yet. The baby had the sniffles.
Yeah, I went to town with this baby.
Are you serious? Well, yes, right away.
Not really my son.
The first program
Adopted.
ever to be televised to the Western world from Russia. Ladies and gentlemen, the British ambassador to Moscow.
And I have been appointed to speak for my fellow members of the diplomatic corps. In days to come, thousands of volumes will be written about the miracle of these last 12 days. The miracle of a nation finding its soul. As the messages from Mars spread throughout the country, the heart of the Russian people began to swell with an old faith, and spontaneous demonstrations of that faith took place. From the churches, they moved on the jails, the fortresses. And here in Moscow, the arrival yesterday of the Patriarch of the Russian Orthodox Church provided the tinder that burned down the Soviet edifice. Thousands
So they all got the app
of the
Tinder?
residents of this city are now dead. They died
They're all
in the creation of a new government.
screwing.
The Patriarch as its provisional head.
We
As
didn't
the
light
new
the
leader
fire.
of New Russia, he will speak to you himself.
Yes, this movie has this much time.
Oh, and
This morning, our armies
Who the fuck is this
in
guy?
occupation of other lands have been recalled to our own soil.
I'll
We
give him
have
this,
turned
Mike.
off
This
our
movie is torture.
of 40 years of
This was my first. This was not my bit worst pick.
This is the first act of our new
It's
government.
almost over.
The second is the reopening
Ah!
of our churches so that our people might
Keep in mind, not a lot can happen in 20 minutes in this movie.
with their own country.
one guy's gonna talk, and then it's gonna be over. So, this guy's not gonna stop talking in the next
They speak
14 minutes.
This is better as an audiobook.
prayer.
You don't need pictures.
Man and henceforth live in peace.
I wish you were a little older, son.
I can listen to this movie and just stare up. Like, man, I wish I'm listening to something better.
That kid's an ugly kid.
He's an annoying kid. Nobody likes Peter Graves' kid. He doesn't even like his kid. Oh, golly.
Oh, we're famous people, son, your mother and I.
Here's the
Names in
problem.
papers, decorations,
There's
plans
no
to make a
problem
war.
in the movie right now.
You know what's really important?
Everything kind of like fixed itself, and so what?
You're our immortality.
What
you
am I
and your
waiting on?
brother, kids you'll have, and the lives you'll lead. You're the blessed generation.
Chris, have you heard the news?
What? What?
Mitchell called me. I couldn't believe it.
I heard it on the car radio. Chris, you should see that crowd. You should see their faces.
And I didn't want the religious messages released.
Dad, the Russians on the radio. Saffron cow.
Wait, he said what?
Maybe you've reformed the Russians, Papa, not young hopeful.
They should have just ended it. Why doesn't the sentence?
They ended it like the classic sitcom. Oh, that kid.
Lynn,
Why doesn't it just get it over with?
Before
And
this
just go
over,
away.
communication.
Why
I
does
mean,
it just keep going?
Suppose we never make it again. There's nothing wrong with the transmitter. Atmospheric conditions won't explain it either. No matter how bad they are, we'd pick up something.
Would it really matter?
Who's in the background?
The general?
We talk of their older
That's the kid.
civilization, and what have they given us? Nothing we couldn't have had all along. Prayers were given us long before wireless.
Good evening, Mr. Cronin.
Oh, it's the German guy. He
Who are
actually
you?
survived. Oh no.
How'd you get in here?
My credentials.
Yeah, I wrote it on a napkin.
The hydrogen valve.
Uh-huh. The original specifications.
Where did you get these?
I drew them.
Calder. Franz Calder.
Where have you come from?
This afternoon, you parked your station wagon in front of the post office. Didn't look in the back when you drove home. Neither did the guards that surround your place.
This is the most stupendous joke I've ever heard. We thought you were in Russia, and here you were in this country all the time.
Only since yesterday, Mr. Cronin.
They tried to kill me.
It wasn't exactly a triumphant entry. Mr. Cronin, did you ever have to crawl through the mud beneath a barbed wire fence? Hide like a hunted animal to avoid the border inspectors?
In heaven's name, why?
Why? I developed a dislike of jails.
Jail? Are you out of your mind, man? Have you heard nothing of what's happened in the world? In spite of your record, there'd have been an open door for the inventor of the hydrogen valve.
Which you stole.
Well, don't talk nonsense. Your specifications became government property. Anyone had a right to use them.
That's a matter of opinion.
Don't worry, Mr. Calder. Chris has given you credit for everything that belongs to you. Every scientific journal has given you full credit.
If you'll forgive me, we're in the latest scientific journals were not at hand. I lived in a hut at 11,000 feet in the Andes. An avalanche finished it. But I dug myself out 9 days ago.
Well, I'm glad you got out anyway. We're just about to broadcast. You might be interested in
You're right. It will amuse me.
All set, Lynn?
Yes.
You know what he broadcasts? He's sitting there, he's like, I'm a banana. He starts sending them memes.
Wow.
Yeah, we're gonna send him a cat meme.
You didn't get a chance to carry on your work yourself.
In a small way.
You ready for a kitty meme?
Everybody loves cat memes.
And then you might have picked up Mars.
What's this? The one
That's
where
right,
it's
I
a
never
surprise
succeeded.
cat.
All right, Lynn, shut it off. With
How
your
did you get
knowledge
through
of
the
valve,
movie?
you
Well, we talked about
should have
memes.
succeeded.
Cat memes.
Unless, of course, atmospherics play tricks at that altitude.
And some people, Mr. Cronin. You won't mind if I take my coat off, huh?
No.
Yes.
No, I do mind. It's cold in here.
Make
Some
yourself
people-
at home.
What do you mean by that?
Of course, I only got out with what I had in my pockets, but I think this will interest you.
You don't mind if I take my pants off?
There are messages and the replies, all of them. The ones that weren't decoded, too. Then you did pick up Mars?
No.
How else could you get these?
When did you hear from Mars last? 9 days ago, wasn't it?
A little after 8 o'clock.
Now you figure the difference in time. And you'll find it was about half an hour before my set was smashed.
I don't believe it.
How slow you were in thinking up that pi formula. And the creation of a vocabulary. Aren't you grateful that I made it so easy for you? Ah. Here you were, the whole mobilized science of the world behind you. And there was I, alone, giving you answers.
You sent the messages. The whole thing was a fraud.
I said that! I said that!
Shit with you.
What?
What were you after?
Shall we say, amusement? You thought you'd created a new Earth, and I destroy it. A new heaven, and that I shall destroy. Once my story is told.
You can't do it!
You can see the possibilities for entertainment, huh?
Listen to me, Mr. Calder. I've 2 children over there in that house. And I'm just one of millions. Millions of women that for the first time know their children are secure. You can't destroy that!
Paradise lost, Mrs. Cronin. Paradise lost.
She annoys me.
That's my present to the world.
He's lying, Linda. Those messages were from Mars. They came from outside the atmosphere.
You take me for an amateur, huh? I shot my signals up to hit the heaviside layer. They deflected down at any angle. Naturally, they seem to come from outside the atmosphere. No. Once I detected your signals, the rest was easy. I could accomplish much more, making you believe I was Mars, than ever getting Mars myself.
Chris,
What is it?
he did not send the religious messages.
Of course I didn't. You know that.
What do you mean?
Here are his messages, the very first few as we received them. But when we asked how they've kept themselves from blowing each other to bits, his answer was, one tribe must hold the power. It had nothing to do with the Sermon on the Mount. It was the prophet talking to us.
The prophet? Clever of you to create him. You played right into my hands. I smashed your economic system with a power panic. But that still left my friends in Moscow. I had to smash them too. From my hut, I could see the statue of Christ. I never thought of using him against them. Thank you for that idea.
They must have been desperate. Kerry, Sparks, all of them. They must have done this in Washington.
Darling, you were there. You spoke with Sparks and the president. Did you think they were play acting?
I don't know.
Who did it is immaterial. When I saw the effect on Moscow, I knew you'd created my weapon for me. That's why I let you raise the world up with all that muck right up to the sky, so I can dash it down to hell when I tell my story.
You can't do it, Calder.
You gonna kill him?
Who's to stop me? God? He had his chance 9 days ago. If I hadn't dug myself out, you'd have gotten away with your fraud.
It was no fraud.
You'd have won.
It was no fraud.
You don't expect me to believe those messages were not faked.
We expect you to believe the truth, just the way the rest of the world believes, just the way we believe.
But here is my proof. There have been no messages since my transmitter was shattered. How will you explain that to the world, Mr. Cronin?
We'll try it now.
Sun on the mount. Peace on earth. No, Mrs. Cronin.
He's gonna get a
You are
message
not
back,
dealing with a superstitious
and
peasant.
it's gonna change his opinion.
If those first messages were fake, the last were too.
You think?
The world will believe me, just as your husband believed me. And then you'll all be at each other's throats
Because
again. All of you!
they hold on here because you have to wait exactly 5 minutes. Or 2
Better
minutes.
to reign in hell.
Or whoever's controlling that clock is kind of like fucking.
My favorite poem.
Look at that.
That person really cranked that one.
Yeah, it moved from that to that.
That was an hour.
Yeah.
The world is going backwards in time.
Submit or yield.
Yeah, what?
That's my God, Mrs. Cronin. Satan.
While they're chatting,
Lucifer's
they're
my
time
hero.
traveling.
God beat
Yeah, I don't get it. Is that supposed to be a second?
But I'll have beaten God.
And nothing will convince you.
Nothing. It's 8:26 according to your clock. I sent a telegram in your name, inviting the press to be here at 8:30. They will only to wait a few minutes before they hear my story.
Why
Would
didn't
you
you
like
tell
a
it
light?
right away? Why did you come here to torture us?
Suppose someone had stolen the fruits of your genius, wouldn't you want to see them humbled in the dust?
Perhaps. It doesn't matter. Linda, you go back to the house.
Do you remember what you said to me the night of the first message? Nothing I was connected with could produce evil. It won't, Chris. We'll finish it together.
Yeah, but he's about to commit suicide.
You know,
And
he's about to
blow
kill
up.
that guy.
The boys.
No, he undid the thing so hydrogen is filling up.
And
And
then
he
you
turned
light
it
it.
on.
It'll only take a minute.
Is that what you really want? I love you, darling.
You do think me a fool. You think I let you walk out of here to call those private guards of yours?
Yeah, I think you're a fool.
What's the matter, man? Cheer up. The reporters will be here in a few minutes. You like publicity, don't you?
2 minutes before they get here. Give me a cigarette, Chris.
I can't go through with it, Lynn. Not now.
The boys are safe. This is their chance. Give me the cigarette.
Funny. In all the years, I've never seen you smoke.
You're not going to smoke in here.
You won't let me outside.
God gave us free will, Mr. Calder. It's what distinguishes us from the animals. We can choose between good and evil. But if we choose evil now, that's the end of the human story.
I can't let you do it.
Stay where you are!
It's a simple problem, isn't it, Mr. Calder? To let you tell your story and risk setting mankind at each other's throats again. Or to see that you keep silent and save mankind.
There!
Give me a light.
Don't! Don't! The room's alive with hydrogen. A spark now would... Stop! Stop! You wouldn't kill your wife?
Chris, look. Now will you believe? Your set's destroyed. But there's a message coming in. There's your proof.
Yeah, light it. Light it. Light it. Light it.
Light it.
Explode.
Light it.
He won't beat me now.
Now it explodes. Everything.
not know and never shall what caused the destruction of that laboratory in California. We only know that Chris and Linda Cronin are gone. And that in our time there will be no more messages from Mars. For God, in his infinite wisdom, has decreed that the revelations which came through them, his servants, were sufficient to fulfill his purpose. At the very moment when they were snatched
Did
up
they
in that
become
chariot of fire,
martyrs?
into
Well,
the bosom
no.
of truth
Saints?
everlasting.
Like
A final message was being
messiahs,
received.
saints.
Only the first few words of that message were recorded before the explosion cut
I
it
think
short.
it starts with an M. I'm trying to think of
Those
the
words
word.
were,
martyr?
Ye have
No.
done well, my good. The rest is silence. Silence.
Like what would you call
No.
Jesus?
No, for as I speak
Muhammad,
with bells of a
except for-
million
what is
churches
it?
in every far corner of the earth,
A Messiah?
ring out
Yeah,
in
I just said
salutation
Messiah.
to the
Just
earth's
doesn't
new
sound
day
right.
of hope. The voices of the joyful.
Messenger of
Rise in
God.
1,000 hymns. Hymns not of grief,
Are people going to
but
worship
of
them
thanksgiving.
like the
And
Mother Mary?
mankind, kneeling in gratitude for its redemption, praise for the spirit of this man and this woman. Of them, as of no mortals before them, it may be said, the whole earth is their sepulchre. And so the message does not remain unfinished. The miracle we have beheld has cleansed our souls and wiped the scales from our eyes. With the new vision given us, we who are left can complete that message. Ye have done well, good and faithful servants. Enter ye into the
Get
joy
it, end
of your
it
Lord.
already. Come
My God.
on.
Thy monument,
You telling me the
world
president?
of peace.
This is like the omens
Yeah.
beforehand.
This is the omen.
You're their son.
I'll take care of you now. Come on. You can bounce on my knee.
And he looks at the camera, it's the omen. It's awesome. Turn to us. Turn to us. Ah. Oh my god.
I hate your picks.
Cheesy picks.
Is simple, clear as fog.
Pew 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 pew.
Are you listening? Shut up, sit down, pay attention, cause you're about to learn a fudging lesson. There's an egg on your head and the yolk is falling down. Turtles